Hi, Facebook family. It's LaShonda Herring again, for those of you who don't know who I am. And tonight is day 3 of our 5 days of how to say I quit. And tonight we're going to be talking about, are you thinking like a boss? So stick around. Let me get everything all set up and ready to go. And I will get started in a second. But I hope you guys are doing okay. Say hi. Let me know that you're doing okay. All of that good stuff. While I get everything and share every place we're supposed to be sharing. There we go. Oops, wrong. So let me know, if you guys are new, let me know where you're from as well. I'd love to know where you're from. Because we had some people that hopped on last night and I had no idea where they're from. So I would love for you to let me know where you're from, how you're doing, all that good stuff. All right, and so tonight I have notes and some things I want to share. So you will absolutely see me looking down tonight as I'm doing this, because I want to make sure that I'm saying the things correctly, because some of them are from me, but some are also quotes from other people. So I want to make sure that that's done correctly. So, all right, it's 8 o'clock on the dot, so give me a second, and I mean a little second. And then I will absolutely get started. I hope you guys are having as much fun with this series as I am. I hope you guys are learning a lot, getting some value out of what I'm sharing, because I'm really having a good time doing this. And would love to do more of this if you guys like it. So you'll have to let me know. All right. And so at the end of this video, unlike the other times, at the end of the video, I will put in the link to my group. So that way, if you guys want to join the group, like I said, there's special things in the group that I don't put out in the public post. So if you want to join the group, then, you know, to get the special stuff, you'll do that. And like I said, I will put that at the end of the video tonight when we're all finished. All right, so very cool. All right, so let's get started with the content, which is one of my favorites. So here's the thing. To quit your job and to take on something as massive as starting your own business, it's 2 separate ways of thinking. And mindset is really critical. And a lot of times when people think about putting together a business, they're like, oh yeah, I need to go get the legal stuff done. Oh yeah, I need to have a product. And they focus in on those 2 things mainly. And they forget the mindset. And your mindset can make or break your business. It really, absolutely, positively can. You know, it's like whatever you say, whatever you feel, you absolutely will create. Just that simple. So tonight we're going to spend some time talking a bit about mindset and the difference between the mindset of a employee and a mindset of a boss. And you guys will hear my dog. He seems to love walking around every time I start this video. He's been laying down all day, but every time the last couple of days that I start this video, he decides to get up and walk around. So it's kind of comical. So you'll hear him tippy-tapping around. But think about it. If you're like me, you've been trained all your life to be an employee. You've been trained all of your life to follow rules. You've been trained to just do whatever the policy is so that you can collect your paycheck, right? It's very different when you're the boss. It's a different way of thinking. You know, when you go to a job that's what we call a 9 to 5, whether it's 9 to 5 or not, you know, you clock in, whatever form that is. You may literally have to clock in or whatever, but you have to be there at a certain time. And you stay there, and you have breaks that are set at a certain time. And you leave at a set time unless you have a project to do. But either way, it's set for you. And normally, it's not set by you, it's set by somebody else. So the conditions and sort of the way that you work and the culture in which you work is normally set by somebody else. And when you transition into the boss and starting your own business, it's not that way at all. So you'll find that your employee thinking and your employee way of being sometimes isn't beneficial to being a boss and to be successful at starting your business. Having passion and motivation is great, but it takes more than that to create a successful business. There's been tons of books written on it, and I'll share some of my favorite books that I like toward the end when I give you guys, sort of tips and resources. I'll share that with you. I have them sitting at my desk to make sure I didn't forget this tonight. But really want you to know that really want you to pay attention to your mindset. I cannot stress that enough, because mindset is really where we get caught up and making our business successful. A lot of times you will hear people talk about their business and they will say that really their mindset is what stopped them from getting to 6 figures, even stopped them to getting to 7 figures. They had to work on their mindset first before they could break sort of that invisible ceiling of making that kind of money. So let's talk a little bit about it. And I'm not going to give you a ton of examples, but I want to give you some that'll start your brain working, to start you thinking like, okay, do I do that? Maybe I do. And sort of give you some alternative shifts. When we go into a job, we're set up that we have certain duties that we perform ourselves, and that we have all these tasks that the boss or whoever has given us to do, and we have to complete them. And more than likely, you have to complete those tasks by yourself. That's different than when you're the boss. And I'll go into that. And the other thing is, when you're on a job, you're evaluated about your own performance and how well you do the job and being your best, right? That's different than being the boss. So for example, like if you go in and you're like, okay, I have to do this thing by myself, that's how an employee thinks. And if you address your business that way, that's not setting yourself up for success, because any good boss knows, entrepreneur knows, that you need a team. You absolutely positively need a team. There's no way you can run a business all by yourself. You need a team. And the team can look many different ways. The team can be a paid team. Like obviously you're going to need an accountant unless you specialize in that area. You may need a legal team to go over your documents. You may need a virtual assistant or someone to help out with sort of the day-to-day stuff, the tasks that you have at hand. But you're going to need some kind of support. The other piece of support that you may need is just emotional support of, how do I go about this? I need someone to keep me going. Sometimes I'm struggling. I just need that motivation. So you need a team of support of other entrepreneurs who can, say, yeah, I've been there. I'm going through that too. You may need that kind of support, and you get that through mastermind groups or forming your own groups. The other type of support, you may need a coach. I always think anyone starting a business needs a coach, because there's things that you don't know. There's things that you're not going to be able to really know, that you need to know them because you've never taken this journey before. So having a coach and a mentor should be part of your team. It really is. Successful people always know that they can't do it by themselves, and they don't try. DIY way of building a business is the long way, the hard way, and the way to struggle. It's just that simple. It may be cheap, but I'm not sure how cheap it is if it takes you 5 years to make your first 6-figure, 5-figure business, when if you had paid somebody, you could have made that in your first year or your second year. So when you really weigh out those figures, you'll realize it costs you more to try to DIY your business than to actually get some help and to get somebody who's qualified to push you to that next level, to bring you to that next level. Now let's go back to where I talked about being your best. On the job, we have to be our best, right? When you report to your boss, you always get an evaluation. Some have it quarterly, some have it every 6 months, every year, whatever that is. But we have the evaluation, and the evaluation is about how well did you do, and you have to be your best. And so you're trained as an employee to always be your best, right? But the difference is, as a boss, The cool part is the best people there should be your team. Your team should be smarter than you. Anyone who works in your business should have more skills in their area of expertise. Like, I want my accountant to know way more than me when it comes to taxes. No question about it. I want my lawyer to know how to read all the legalese and the contracts way better than I can. So there's a shift that has to happen to become a really good entrepreneur, a business owner, versus being an employee. The other one is, like, when we're an employee, we feel really good after the evaluation and we're like, yes, I did my best. Yes, I won a contract. Yes, the boss gave me this new project. I won. And it feels really good. And that's what you're supposed to do on jobs. You're supposed to be your best. You're supposed to win the contracts. You're supposed to win the kudos. But when you have your own business, you win when your clients win. You win when you give quality service. So the emphasis is not so much on you winning the prize. The prize is when your clients win. You know, for me, it's when my clients succeed and they open the doors to their business and it's run smoothly because they've already made that plan with me. They've made a smooth transition from their job to starting a business that they love. And they're like, wow, LaShonda, this worked. I had the plan. I started early. It was just an easy flow. My mindset was right. Game face was on. This is what I do. So when they do that and they win, then I win. And that's a very different mindset. It's more of the win-win situation that we create when we're an entrepreneur, when we're a business owner, versus when we're an employee. So you need to kind of think about that. The other thing is, when you're an employee, right, we work for our check. Just that simple. You clock in so that you get that check. But when you're an entrepreneur, you create systems and you create flow of money. So you create a system that makes the money. You don't necessarily work hour for hour for the money. You're creating a system that will make money, whether I'm at my computer, whether I'm awake, whether I'm off playing with my kids, whether I'm sleeping. I'm creating a system that will flow and that will work so that I don't have to work hard for my money. My money will work hard for me. There's a difference there. And so I'm giving you this because I felt like this was an important component to starting a business, to thinking about transitioning out of the job into that new system called a business, being an entrepreneur. We've got to get our mindset right. So I've got an activity for you to do. As you go through the rest of the week, today's Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, if you're working Friday, because I know the holiday's coming up, but you can do this when you get back to work next week. I want you to look at the things that you say. And at the end of the day, write them down. Oh yeah, I said this on the job today. I said that on the job today. And I want you to look and ask yourself, is that employee thinking or is that boss thinking? Look at your own self and see how much of employee thinking is running your life versus boss thinking. And start to think, how can I transition from thinking like an employee all the time and start to think like a boss? Because when you do that, it's going to make a difference in your job. If you switch over from thinking like an employee and start to think like a boss, bit by bit, and start thinking like that entrepreneur, you're going to notice a shift. So when it is time for you to finally say, hey, I quit, I'm out of here, it'll be an easier transition for you to be a successful entrepreneur. But we've got to work on that mindset because you don't realize that the mindset is so huge. It's changed so much. You don't realize, not that it's changed so much, but it needs to change so much when you become an entrepreneur, that you need to be able to really shift and focus in on a different mission. You know, your mission at work is to get your paycheck and do your job. Your mission in your job is to make it, in your business is to make it successful, to make it viable, to help out other people. So the missions are two different things, and you have to make sure your mindset matches your mission. There's no question about it. So how do you switch? If you realize you have a lot of employee mindset going on, there's ways that you can do things. One is that you can take classes. You know, there's lots of free stuff on the web to get you started, lots of free resources. there's books, and I'm going to share some of my favorite books. I'll start with the classic book. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Trying to get so there's not so much. Let me back it up. There we go. Now you can see my finger's not totally in the way. So this book here, it's Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. This is one of the Bibles that you will hear all the successful people talk about, books that they've read, things that they've learned. This is an awesome, awesome book to read. I've read it. I've done it over again a few times. I've done a mastermind group with several people on this book. There's always something when you read this book that you learn. So if you haven't read that book, read it. It's an interesting read. It's from a long, long, long time ago. One of my favorite sort of newer books compared to that one, and I'm covering my face so that you guys can kind of see there's a glare, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. I love this book too. This was one of the books that helped me be like, oh, wow. He talks about his relationship with his biological dad, and he talks about his relationship with a wealthy man that he met that took him under his wing and became sort of the father. And he talks about their different mindsets and how they view the world and how they live their life. So this is really, really a good one. When you talk about mindset and how you view money and how you view your job, this is an excellent, excellent resource when it comes to that. It's a great read too. I like his storytelling. This one is just an interesting. It's the 1 Minute Manager. This one's old too, but it's a really, really good one because it talks about how do you manage. And you can use this one even at work. It doesn't have to necessarily be you have to wait to be an entrepreneur to use this one. You can use this one in work, but it's very great as far as teaching you skills and thinking about things from a different perspective and how you can apply this to your business. And I have a whole bookshelf over there of tons more, but I'm not going to bombard you. But I wanted to pick out like 3. I probably could have picked out more, but thank goodness I ran out of time. That's the other thing. Getting into the mindset of an entrepreneur is that we're always learning. We're always learning. We're always growing. We're always doing something different, doing something new. If that's exciting and attractive to you, then that would be good to be an entrepreneur. If you don't like doing that, if you don't like learning, you don't like growing, you don't like learning new things or trying to read books or taking classes, entrepreneurship is probably not for you. I can tell you that now because there's so much learning that we have to do. I'm continually learning all the time. All the time I'm learning. So as an entrepreneur, we're always learning and growing. The other thing you can do besides reading and taking classes is get a coach, get a mentor. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know. And having a mentor or coach who's been there before that can help you and do that, that's some of the work that I do. What I do is I help women transition from the jobs they can't stand to doing the work that fills their soul. So I help them create that big transition plan of how to put things in place in their life, how to get their money in order, how to stop the mindset that's holding them back, and to build into that successful mindset. That's the things that I do for my clients that I work with. So find someone that you identify with that can help you get you to the next level. None of us successful coaches do it alone. I have a coach. We all have a coach. My coach has coaches that she goes to for different things. We all have people that support us because there's always somebody that knows something that we don't. It's kind of like that adage, which I can't do on camera, but you've got your hand down and you're pulling somebody up, and at the same time you've got your hand up where someone's helping you up. That's kind of how you should live your life. Helping somebody as well as having your hand up where somebody's helping you, because we always need to learn and we always need to grow. So I hope this gave you some food for thought. If you're thinking about starting that business, you need to look at your mindset. You need to check it. You need to look at what's going on for you. And like I said, just like I said the other days, if you're interested in talking with me and you want to say, LaShonda, I'm not sure about my mindset. This is what I'm thinking. Do you think I'm, more of an employee? Do you think I have the right mindset to get me started? How do I get started with the entrepreneur mindset? You can set up a free session with me. It's called a connection call. It's about 15 minutes long. And what we do is we brainstorm on that particular topic. If that's what you want to discuss with me, by all means. You can cover any of the topics that we've covered so far this week on that call. It's not a problem. For those of you who sent me emails, I apologize to you. I forgot I had no openings on my calendar, so I put some new time slots in there. So if you're in my group, don't worry, there's some new time slots. You can go and sign up. The session is free, by the way, if I didn't say that before. It's a free session for me offering you some guidance to get you started in the right direction on this journey. So if you need to do that, by all means, you can set up that connection call with me. I can get you started on what's the right direction, how to have that entrepreneur mindset, how to leave that employee mindset alone. I want you to be successful. I don't want your thinking to stop you. Have an awesome, awesome night. Tomorrow, night 4. And actually our last night, because Friday we're going to do something during the day because, like I said, holiday weekend, and I'm going to have some fun this weekend. So enjoy yourself tonight, and I will see you back here tomorrow, same time. Take care. Bye.